Today, we're diving into Dennis Waitley's amazing book, The Psychology of Winning. We're going to explore this one huge idea that separates the winners from the losers. And we're not going to do it with complicated theories, but through a simple story about a young man at a fair. So let's jump right in. This right here, this is the core idea. It sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? But what does it actually mean to focus on winning? Well, let's unpack that through a story. So, picture this. A big, bustling fair. You know the scene. Lights, music, people cheering and winning prizes. Everyone's having a great time. But then, off on a bench, all by himself, sits a young guy named Amin. He's just watching his friends, but he's not really with them. He's just stuck in his own world, feeling like a complete failure. I mean, have you ever felt that really heavy feeling that you're just standing still while everyone else is racing past you? That's exactly where Amin is. For him, it's not just about some silly game at the fair. It feels like he's losing at life itself. Then, this older man with a really kind face sits down next to him. We'll call him Dr. Book. He doesn't say anything at first, but just his presence there is enough. And Amin just breaks. He tells him everything, how he feels like a loser, how he's watching everyone else succeed while he's just left behind, feeling totally worthless. Now, instead of giving him some cliché advice, Dr. Book just smiles and says something that completely catches Amin off guard. You know, I used to feel exactly like you. He tells him that the big turning point in his life wasn't about his circumstances changing, but about his psychology changing. The secret, he says, is all in your mind. So what is this winner's mindset thing anyway? Dr. Book explains that it has nothing to do with being born with talent or getting lucky. It's a habit. And here's the absolute key. It's about taking all that energy you waste looking at other people and comparing yourself and turning it inward, focusing it completely on your own growth. Aman, Dr. Book starts, before you can ever win out there, and he points to the fair, you have to build an absolutely unshakable world in here. And he taps his head. This is the foundation. Everything, and I mean everything, is built on top of this. And the very first building block is your self-image. Now, this isn't about being arrogant or cocky. It's about that private picture you hold of yourself, who you really are when nobody's watching. See, winners don't just hope they'll succeed. They build this clear, powerful image of the successful person they're absolutely determined to become. To make his point, Dr. Book tells Amin the story of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Here's a guy from a tiny, remote village in Austria. No money, no connections, no advantages whatsoever. But he had one thing nobody could take away: an incredibly powerful self-image. I mean, just look at the timeline of his life. As a kid, he didn't see a small village boy. He saw Mr. Universe. When he got to Hollywood and everyone told him his accent was weird and his body was too big for movies, his internal image was of a leading man. And later, he saw himself as a public leader. At every single step, his outside reality was literally pulled into line with his powerful internal vision, not the other way around. Dr. Book could see the wheels turning in Aman's head. But look, he continued, a strong inner world is only half the battle. You have to connect that powerful belief to powerful action in the real world. And this is the second, absolutely crucial step. The next habit is what we call positive self-expectation. And the difference here is subtle, but it is massive. Losers hope they catch a lucky break. Winners walk into a challenge expecting to win because they know they've done the work. Your own expectations literally set the ceiling for what you can achieve. Just think about Muhammad Ali. He famously shouted, "I am the greatest," long before anyone else in the world believed it. Now, that wasn't just him being arrogant. It was a powerful, deliberate statement of self-expectation. He was programming his own mind for victory. Remember his legendary fight against Sonny Liston? The odds were stacked so high against him. Seriously, nobody gave him a chance. But Ali's self-expectation was just unshakable. In his own mind, he'd already won the fight. That mental edge is what let him do the impossible in the ring, turning his belief into a self-fulfilling prophecy. You can imagine a woman who always felt the odds were against him, just hanging on every word. But here's the thing, expectation without action is just a daydream. And that's where the third habit, positive self-discipline, comes in. This is the engine that makes it all real. Dr. Book then brought up Kobe Bryant. His whole Mamba mentality, that wasn't just some cool slogan. It was a commitment. It was him showing up at 4 a.m. to practice hours before anyone else. It was him studying game film while everyone else was out relaxing. That relentless, day in, day out discipline is what made his expectation of being one of the greatest not just a possibility, but pretty much inevitable. As Dr. Book is sharing all of this, you can just see something shift inside Amen. That heavy cloud of defeat starts to lift, and for the first time in a long time, there's a spark of hope. He finally sees a way forward. So, how can you and Amen start this right now, today? Well, it boils down to these 3 simple steps. First, define your ideal self. Get a crystal clear picture of the winner you want to be. Second, expect to achieve it. Believe in that vision with every fiber of your being. And third, and this is the most important part, take one disciplined action. Just do one thing today that moves you a tiny bit closer to that vision. So, I'll leave you with this question. Forget about what everyone else is doing. Forget about your past failures. What is the one thing, the one single action you will take today to focus on winning your game? Because that's what a winner does. And that single step, that is where everything begins.